So if you're on a mission to break through, either it's getting started or you're trying to climb away from that 20, 30K a month and go anywhere to 50 or 100K a month, I got you. And I understand it may not be exactly the same as it was a couple of years ago, or as many people out there will tell you how easy it is to do so. So I'm gonna be real with you in this video and just share what's working for me, what's working for some of the companies that we've built, like a $2 million marketing agency, and really just share with you the exact steps of what's working right now. And spoiler, it's not going to be a 17-step funnel or all this complicated tech. It's going to be exactly the opposite. I just want to give you everything you need to know to set you up to win. And for those of you that don't know me, I'm Sebastian, and I've built multiple 6- and 7-figure businesses, one of which, MYA, a marketing agency making multiple millions of dollars every year, serving architects, interior designers, and home builders. But I've also spent a long time of my life in corporate, managing sales teams and selling multi-million-dollar deals to enterprise companies, all the CRM, all the marketing, everything you can imagine on the biggest companies. I'm not going to show you some kind of get rich quick or some kind of thing that will make you a millionaire by tomorrow, but I want to show you the exact steps that can possibly take you away from burning out and trying to hire the biggest team and everything, but ways on how you don't need to hire a huge team, how you can actually work less to make more money, and why the 97% of coaches, course creators, and marketing agencies are set up for failure that are actually not implementing the steps that I'm going to share, and I'll show you why. So really quick, before we dive in, here's what's actually happening. The coaching business as a whole, if you go and Google that and you look at Statista, it will tell you we're at a $7 billion industry, and it's growing 17% each and every year. But the paradox is, even though there's a $7 billion growing industry, still 80% of coaches are failing. Maybe this is the reason why you're watching this video right now. Maybe you're just starting out and you're trying to learn more things. But in reality, there's just not a lot of coaches out there that are actually making bank, living a healthy and successful life, that they have time, location freedom, and all of these things that we ultimately signed up for when we started our own business. You may be thinking, Sebastian, that's just because they're not good at what they do. They're just not good at fitness if they're a fitness coach, whatever it is that they're selling in their program. But that's not really it. I know super brilliant coaches that are struggling, and the problem is never their expertise. The problem is the complexity that they get caught up in. Oh, I need to send emails, I need to run ads, I need to do social media on 10 different platforms, I need to have a CRM, and all of that makes your organization really complex. So finally, there's coaches that are making $50,000 a month. Now, maybe that sounds like a lot to you or a little, but in reality, they're taking home maybe 30% of that, which isn't that much anymore. And if you think of it, that if you go Google the averages and you see that actually the coaches are just taking home around 15%, so 30% is a very good margin for the coaches that are hyper optimized and know what they're doing and have a super good sales team and so on. In reality, most coaches are taking home 15%. If you take 15% from $50,000 a month, you're probably profiting barely what you used to make in your day job when you decided to go all in on this venture. The problem is that many are just operating in the old way, and we got to switch our thinking to 2025, which is leveraging mechanisms to build more trust, leveraging ads, not to throw more people through a funnel, which they will then may or may not show to your sales call, and they may or may not probably trust you. More on that in a second as well. And finally, helping you play by the new rules by not using a 10-person team, but by leveraging things like AI in a smart way to help you do more, to help you make more profits and not make your organization more complex. I talked a lot about ads. That's probably the initial problem. And if you're new and you're just starting out as a coach, you will realize really quickly that word of mouth and your network will only get you so far. It will give you a lead here or there and you will make some money, but it's not a sustainable way to really grow your business and to get that money and location and financial freedom that you're looking for. If you're not there yet, you will probably realize that now, that you've got to go pay to acquire new customers. For those of you that are already running ads, you all know the ads costs are going through the roof. Zuckerberg in 2019, he asked us for a couple $100s for a new client. Now in 2025, we're spending over $2,000 for a new client. And if you're anywhere at $50,000 or $100,000, you'll know how much you're paying for for your client acquisition. The biggest coaches out there making $1 million months and more, they're spending thousands of dollars to acquire a new customer. See, and what's happening is people are just tired of being sold to. And the reason for this being as well is if you go look up completion rates of courses, done with you programs, or even these huge mass courses, the completion rates are 10, 20%, sometimes even less for these huge mass courses that you find online. They've got a 2, 3, 4% completion rate. People are not completing the materials that you painstakingly built up for them, whatever it may be. If it's a fitness offer, a crypto offer, or a parenting offer, people are actually not even watching your materials and they're not implementing what you're trying to teach. So essentially, you already know what's going to happen is they're going to come into your program, they're going to pay you some money, and then they don't finish the materials, and then they leave without a result, and they're like, oh, this is a scam, this doesn't work. And if you're lucky, they don't leave you a review or ask for a chargeback. And due to the fact that everyone is advertising like crazy, there's just more and more advertisers. There's more people trying to sell people onto these programs, right? There's more fitness offers, there's more finance offers, there's more offers for every niche out there. People are just getting sick and tired of being sold. They don't trust you anymore. Trust is going down into the cellar. That means that if you try to do it the old way, so you're trying to push someone through a short form funnel, let's call it a Facebook lead ad to a VSL, and then onto a calendar booking, or maybe even worse, maybe just a Facebook lead form onto a calendar. And these people are seeing 2 seconds of your content, and according to statistics, 60% of the people, they do not trust you. Whatever you're going to say on that sales call, whatever results you're going to present, 6 out of 10 people do not trust a word you're saying. Imagine that. It's going to be hard to show them all these testimonials and all this proof, and maybe even convince them that your entire system, that they weren't even educated on this whole program that you have, works. So that's a really hard job, and that's the exact reason why if you have a sales team, they're maybe barely scratching 10%, or why people are just not showing up to your webinar, and then you have measly close rates of 2, 3, 4%. And webinar is even a good thing, right? You're already increasing the watch time and you're showing them that you have more time. The solution to this is not running more ads or creating another offer that nobody needs, trying to take people through a 17-step funnel and just do all this crazy complexity. Listen to this. This is actually crucial. You got to rethink the entire system. And it starts by understanding how many touch points the customer needs today to know, like, and trust and feel confident to buy from you. If you go back 10 years and you've been in marketing for a while, you'll know that we used to say you need 7 touch points for the person to trust you and buy from you. Whatever you were doing, if that was e-com or high ticket or whatever it was, if the person saw an ad, maybe an email or 2, then he talked to you and he saw an VSL, and then he saw you another time on YouTube or whatever, that equals 7 touch points. So then he was confident, hey, this is something that I feel comfortable investing in. Today, there's a couple of sources. I didn't do this research on my own, but a couple of sources are citing you need over 200 touch points. Crazy how we went from 7 to 200. And people are saying trust went down like 10%. In my opinion, it went down way more. From 7 touch points to 200, that's kind of insane. I don't even know the increase of that, but it's multiple hundreds of percent, thousands, to get from 7 to 200. And the reason for that being is people just fundamentally don't believe anything anymore. I had a webinar that when I used to do webinars, I had someone come into the webinar and he was in the comments, he was like, this is AI, this is not real, this is recorded. I was doing a live webinar training. So people don't believe stuff out there anymore. In your social feeds, you have apps coming in, faking celebrities. You have deep AI faking a bunch of stuff. So how are they going to believe that testimonial video that you shared is real? There's absolutely no way they trust you just by you sharing screenshots, testimonials, or whatever it is they do. The way you get people to trust you and to ultimately give you money is by them having these 200 touch points, or if you so may, a couple of hours of watch time. Them actually seeing you do what you say you do. Delivering is behind the scenes content. You doing tutorials where you explain how the process is. You delivering actual value to your target audience. And you can use ads to amplify the whole process. You will allow ads to give you more reach to reach more customers every day than you could with your organic content, but you let the organic content do the heavy lifting on exactly what you do and exactly how you do it and exactly how that whole process will get them the result that they're looking for. So you may be asking yourself, Sebastian, why should I share all my value, all my secret sauce on YouTube and Instagram and wherever completely for free? What do I even offer in my paid program and in my paid coaching? The funny thing is, just today I had a client that signed up with us and he asked me exactly that question. He said, Sebastian, why don't I just do what you teach on YouTube and on social media? Because everything's there. Why would I need to work directly with you? And the answer is super simple. There's absolutely no obligation to work directly with me. The difference that if you work together, for example, with me, is that instead of on YouTube and Instagram and everywhere, you have so many distractions. Maybe you're watching my videos, maybe you're watching other people's videos like Alex Hormozy or Grant Cardone or other big people that are teaching marketing and all these other things. And it's not that they're wrong or right, or one strategy is wrong or right. They could be talking about great strategies that may take you to where you want to be. The issue is that if you try to listen to all of these strategies, you will end up being confused and you may start one strategy and then stop it and then go to the other, while you just had to continue that strategy for another 3 days to get the results that you were looking for. Many people start running paid ads and then they give up after 2 weeks, or they don't test their ads long enough in order for them to reach KPI. And if you don't know what I'm talking about right now, that is something that you deeply need to learn if you're running paid ads. You need to understand what is your KPI and how long do I need to let my ads run until I get that KPI, so I cut them or I increase them and I double the ad spend, and how to do so that you can scale your ad sets profitably, that you get more leads at the cost that you're looking to acquire them. What a good coach or mentor will do is he's going to actually not tell you to watch more videos, and sometimes it will be to do less. Focus only on this and cut out all of the distractions. And that's what's going to take you 10 steps further. So sometimes you just need a clear path instead of 100 different options. And that's exactly what real coaching is. It's not some kind of secret formula or that 100 template wall of ads and email copy and whatever. It's this clear guidance and expertise and accountability. It's telling you to drop the from the Facebook name, or the 1 or 2 words, the way you change them in your title, which could convert better. If you're spending multiple 6 figures on advertisements, like on Facebook, Instagram, or on your content, you want to make sure that your landing page, your VSL, or whatever it may be within your funnel, however complicated or simple it may be, we'll talk more about it being simple, but you still want to pay super attention to the detail. And in full honesty, I've spent well over $100,000 to acquire knowledge from masterminds, coaches, mentors over the course of the past few years. Sometimes I'd rather pay somebody $10K who knows granular detail about everything about landing pages and how to make my funnel better, just because maybe he's spent more money or he's done more, than to go fumble with it myself. Because I'm on Facebook, I'm spending 20, 30, 40, 50 grand a month. Why would I not spend a little bit of money to hire someone to look over it and tell me to drop a comma somewhere or to change an image around, which will then help me convert better? Look, and I know when we're speaking about change and how to break out of that 20, 30K a month and go to 50 or 100K, many times we think about more ads, more complexity, more offers, more funnels. Let's do webinars. 6 months ago, I was doing all of that. I had a setter, closer, different offers, spending a lot of ads, always trying new things. And essentially, I looked at all my numbers, I looked at the statistics, and I took a radical decision. So I went there and I fired my entire sales team, and I cut out 90% of the funnels and fluff. And we went down to a very simple model. We were all a little bit worried, what's gonna happen now? And of course, top line revenue came down a little bit, but profits doubled, almost tripled. It's not always about how much money you spend on ads, but how you're doing it and how simple your offer actually is to get the result that you're looking for. And finally, it's also about what you're trying to accomplish. If you're trying to grow your business, just revenue, and you want $1 million months maybe more. You want to have this multi 8-figure business. That may not be everyone's dream, because if you don't know, many of multi 7-figure and 8-figure business owners, they simply don't have a life. They're working 12-hour days, trying new offers, trying new funnels, and you'll see it on social media sometimes blend through. They're like, oh yeah, I can do this in a day, and so on. The reason why they can do it in a day, because they're spending 12 hours of their day there to launch that new funnel. But that's not really a flex if you're trying to take time back, maybe work 4 hours a day, spend more time with your family, and still take home that big check. So what I'm trying to say is that complexity many times is killing businesses. If you think about the math, you have a couple grand here, 2K, a setter, then you have an ads manager, maybe part-time, right? Also a couple grand here. And essentially all of these things, even if you're not a multi 7-figure coach or course creator, these costs rack up, right? And you're spending 10, maybe 20K on a team. That also adds complexity and takes away your time, right? You got to manage this team. You got to look after all the mistakes, your CSM, your sales team, you got to go have all these call reviews. So it's taking away a lot of your time too. Meanwhile, I now run my business with a couple $100 in AI tools, $50 in ads a day, one offer, and 0 full-time team. And my profit margin today, 90%. Their profit margin, if they're lucky, maybe 15 to 20%. I don't need to have an 8-figure business in order to be taking home 6 figures a month in profits. Here's really what's beautiful about this whole shift. It's forcing us back to what coaching should have always been: genuine human connection. Not trying to hard sell you on this program and then onboard you to a CSM that doesn't really know what he's doing and managing 50 clients, but actually you teaching your passion to a couple people. Let's say one client a week pays you 10K. That is 40K in MRR if you're adding one client every week, and that kind of cycles through. You're making $40,000, $50,000 a month, and you're taking home 80 or 90% profit. That's a lot. I know some people dream of having millions a month, but I think after 50 months, there's really only so much that you can add to it. Of course, you can get a bigger yacht, you can get a bigger jet, whatever. But with 50K a month, you can live comfortably in any city in the world. You can pay for most expenses if you're not going ballistic every day. And what do you need all those fancy things for, really? And to do this, you don't need to hide behind a bunch of funnels and a team of setters and closers. No more fake scarcity and pressure tactics and whatever, because you only have so many spots available. You could probably coach 40, 50 clients one-on-one, and that's about the capacity. That's also what we do when we have a CSM in place. We usually recommend anywhere from 40 to 50 clients. So when somebody DMs me now, I actually talk to them. It's not some kind of setter or whatever trying to push you onto a sales call and whatnot. And many of the sales calls, I take them myself too. And usually it's for people that I believe they've already been following us for a while and they're the right fit for the business. And why, you may ask? Because at the time that somebody books in a conversation, you can actually only do so once you've been through a certain amount of content and funnels. Only then you will get invited to that. These people have already consumed content. They know exactly what it's about. They know exactly how we do it, how we get your transformation. They've seen testimonials and they built this trust, and it's not anymore about convincing them about anything. It's only about figuring out logistics and taking payment. Look, I know it might sound overwhelming, and these are big changes, but here's what you ultimately need to understand. This is by far the biggest opportunity when it comes to coaching. And the people that will get this right are going to be way far above, versus the ones that are trying to play the old game are going to fall further behind, and it's going to be more difficult and complicated to get where they want to be. While everyone else is overcomplicating, you can simplify. While everyone else is trying to use ChatGPT and trying to automate everything, you can be human. And believe me or not, but people are surprised about this. If you respond in your DMs, an actual human that they can talk to. And many times this resonates really well. I don't know how you feel, but going through every funnel, everything's automated. Heck, even if you pick up the phone and you call some customer success agent, there's an AI there that doesn't get your answers right. The bar has never been lower to be real today. That doesn't mean you can't use AI. There's just certain things that you want to use it for and that you don't. You don't really need to work harder. You just need to work smarter and simpler. So here's what you can do from today. First, go and audit your complexity. Look at all your funnels, all your ads, all your offers, every tool, every step, every team member, every process. And ask yourself, does this help my clients directly get results? Does it help you get results? Does it pay you money? If not, cut it. Second one, pick one transformation, not 10 funnels, not 10 offers. Pick one single transformation, one guarantee at a price point that is anywhere between 5 and 10K. And remember, nobody buys when they're confused. So simplify it. One ad, one offer, and one price. Use content to give away all of the value, and use one simple ad to get people into your ecosystem so they can consume your content and build trust. Not a funnel to push them through, just get them introduced to your brand. And that's it. That's the entire system. I'll break it down obviously in more detail, and I'll also leave a link below to the school community that I just created for this, where I'll be sharing more of these tutorials in depth. And if you're interested to fast track this and have me or my team implement this for you together, and you want to work one-on-one with me, go find me on Instagram and DM me the word inner circle. I don't want to make it easy for people to reach out. So if you've gotten this far, people just fundamentally don't believe anything anymore. You're really curious about how we set this up. I hope this was valuable to you. Click the follow button, click the like button, the bell button, whatever, so you get the next video and the next updates where I'll be breaking down more topics. I'll also be doing detailed tutorials, like for example, the ads that I mentioned, the setup that I mentioned, and how to do this. And I'll be sharing my results with you live. How many clicks we got, how many people we closed, what is the cost of this, so that you can either figure out how to implement this on your own just by following along. Leave it in the comments if you have a question. Maybe I'll make another video about it. And if you want to go more in depth, join our community below, and excited to see you in the next one.